Welcome to another exciting, fun-packed episode of the Mostly Mike Show. The kind folks at Alloyman sent me this 20-volt cordless mini chainsaw to unbox and review for your viewing pleasure. Full disclosure, I did not pay for this saw. It was sent to me in exchange for this honest review video. I'll show you what's in the box, point out some key features, and then we'll take it out on one of my trails and see how much we can cut on a single charge. We're in a secure location in the compound just outside the top secret location of the Mostly Mike Show Research and Development Center. I was very pleased when I opened the package and saw a blow-molded plastic carrying case. It's always nice to keep everything together in one spot so it's there when you need it. Inside the case there's an instruction manual, a pair of stylish yellow-framed safety glasses, which I'll use state-of-the-art simulation to show you how you might look with them on. Individual results may vary. There's a pair of gloves, which my glove model is off today for Juneteenth. Geez, some of my models have better benefits than I do. There's an extra chain, which is super handy to have, a charging cable, which looks to have an LED indicator in the corner, 2 batteries, which there's a charge indicator on the side of these batteries showing that it was shipped with a full charge. I'll still be topping off the charge before we take this out in the woods to try it out. And finally, the saw itself. The color scheme looks very similar to one of the very popular brands out there that we all know, like the Mostly Mike Show brand color scheme. They built this saw just for me. Thanks, Alloyman. There's a spring-loaded guard on the top of the bar covering the entire top of the bar. And the saw just has a decent, solid feel as well as an attractive look. When holding the Alloyman Mini Chainsaw, your knuckles will feel safe from laceration and hideous disfigurement while nestled behind this extra-wide handguard built into the body of the saw. There's a safety button on both sides to accommodate right or left-handed users. This button must be depressed in order to pull the trigger to start the saw, therefore mitigating the possibility of inadvertent starting of the saw causing pain and dismemberment. The batteries snap securely into the saw body with an audible detent. Just push the yellow button to release the battery from the saw. The saw starts up nicely at the pull of the trigger. On the box, it says that the Alloyman saw runs the chain at 26.24 feet per second or 3,600 to 4,000 RPM. Although I don't have a way to test the actual blade feet per second, I will have one of my lab rats check the RPMs off the drive sprocket, or cog if you will, and a full charge on the test bench in the Research and Development Center. There's almost exactly 6 inches of usable blade length. Here's one of my favorite features on the Alloyman Mini Chainsaw: bar and chain removal and adjustment without any tools. This is borderline pant-peeing excitement when it comes to these mini chainsaws, and the Alloyman is the first mini chainsaw to appear as a guest on the Mostly Mike Show, boasting this idiosyncrasy. To adjust the chain tension, simply loosen the black wing nut a half turn or so, then adjust the chain tension by turning the outer yellow knob until there is just a little bit of gap between the chain and the bar. To remove the bar and chain, just remove the black wing nut and the cover pulls off, allowing you to remove the bar. This also comes in handy for cleaning debris from under the cover, which I would highly recommend doing periodically. It's just good for battery life. The Alloyman Mini Chainsaw does not have an oil reservoir. Keeping the oil lubricated is crucial for bar and chain longevity, especially on a chain that sings along at 26.24 feet per second. But seriously though, even if this chain sang along at, say, 23 feet per second, I would still lubricate it just the same. Just saying. I'm sure that any oil is better than no oil, but a little bar oil in a small squeeze bottle or even some 3-in-1 oil will suffice. Periodic lubrication of the bar and chain is one of those little promises that you need to make your saw to keep it running tip-top, which makes your saw feel special. Here's a little tip to index the chain while lubricating it. These chains, especially new ones, are super sharp. I know that many of you will just spin the chain by hand, but it's just a matter of time and you'll get bit, even with a glove on. Here's a safer, easier alternative to index your chain, not just on the Alloyman, but on any chainsaw. Just use a piece of scrap wood or even the log in the woods that you're cutting, set the bar on the wood, press down a little, and pull back. Pretty cool, eh? Okay, enough nonsense. Let's go out on one of my trails and find something to cut. So I'm on my trail entitled Papa Bear, which I named after my dad because it was built on his favorite deer hunting grounds. There's a downed black cherry tree across the trail blown down from a windstorm. I'm still in a quandary whether to cut it out or build a badass trail feature over it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Regardless of that, I drug you all out here to cut something up with the Alloyman Mini Chainsaw, so we're going to cut this branch right here. I'll begin by cutting off some of the sucker branches, which we all know what a distraction these sucker branches can become in these review videos. According to my enchilada, we are starting out at about 2 inches thick and making consecutive cuts progressing into the thicker area. I'll start by doing some general pruning and hoping not to take out either of these two cameras that are filming this. That removes the danger of hitting the camera, so I'm just going to cut some tiny pieces off until the battery goes dead. So now we're getting into about the 3-inch round stuff. Oh, no. I'm gonna actually cut that end off. Alloyman. Couple sucker limbs. You don't want to labor these saws. That kills batteries like right now. Just let the saw do the work, even hold back a little bit so it doesn't have a tendency to catch the grain of the wood and really labor it. I was going to count the cuts and see how many we can get on a single charge, but here's the thing. These cuts are all different diameters, so not sure what fish counting the cuts would fry. The Alloyman Mini Chainsaw was designed mainly for incidental pruning and general household cutting, so I'm going to do just that and cut various diameters until the battery dies. That last cut was actually at the hole at the end of the bar. And the bar is starting to feel a little bit warm. I'm just going to take 1 second here, get some oil on this bar. We got our 3-in-1 oil here. Like I said earlier, just go like this to index the bar. That took it about a halfway around. Alright, we should be good for a little bit yet. This is without a doubt getting into the heavier stuff for this size of a bar. I don't want to labor it too hard. I can feel a little bit of heat coming off the motor right now, so I think I'm just going to run through one battery, and I think we'd be safe to say that this is probably a bit much for the normal use of this saw. This is kind of getting out of that realm. And there she cut out. We're showing 2 bars left on the battery. I'm afraid of burning the motor up if I go any further. And in the saw's defense, I cut a pretty good amount of wood. I mean, if you look at everything that I cut and we count the cuts on this thicker piece, I'm not at all disappointed in how this saw performed. If you give it a couple seconds, it'll probably start running again. See, I don't want to go burning the motor up because I like it. This saw is going to live in my RV. When I'm out camping, I find some deadfall, anything like that. This is going to be very handy to make that into sizable pieces you could carry and or fit into the fire pit. One thing on this saw or any battery powered saw that you don't want to do is horse the saw through a cut. These saws cut much better and the motors stay much cooler when you run them at full RPM. Your saw will thank you and reward you greatly for this. On its first battery, the Alloyman performed very well, especially considering that I made several cuts in the 3 or more inch thick area of the tree. Now it's time to tell you what I like and don't like about the saw. I think that the Alloyman Mini Chainsaw performed very well and the battery life was pretty good for a saw in this price range. It looks fantastic with the mostly Mike Show color scheme. I like that there's a case that holds everything and it's not like putting a puzzle together to get everything to fit. Having the extra chain is very handy to have. If I had to pick a favorite feature though, that feature would be the ability to adjust or remove the bar and chain with no tools. The only part that I think could be improved upon is that there's no oil reservoir built into the saw to automatically oil the chain. But in the Alloyman Mini Chainsaw's defense, I don't think that there's any chainsaw in this class that has an automatic chain oiler. I'll be sure to include the Alloyman Mini Chainsaw to my Amazon store, which by clicking this link before you make any Amazon purchase, even stuff totally unrelated to my video content, you are helping me improve future content at no cost to you through small commissions that I earn. I would like to thank Alloyman for sending me this saw to help make this video happen. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Mostly Mike Show and found it helpful, or at least got a few laughs out of it. Please click that thumbs up button if you did, and consider subscribing if you're new here. Check out some of my other videos and binge-worthy playlists just loaded with hilarious antics and madcap hijinks. Tell me all about your dirty little chainsaw adventures in the comments below. I can't wait to hear about them. Thanks for watching this Mostly Mike Show presentation, and I'll see you next time.